You already know the rules. When you come in my house, take off those shoes. It super violate that like button. It don't cost nothing for you to hit that like button in support of this channel. Now, Trump, with his deportations and revoking the rights of born citizens who was born into this country, and stating that these laws were only meant for slaves.
We can now promptly file to proceed with numerous policies that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis. And some of the cases we're talking about would be ending birthright citizenship, which now comes to the fore. That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation. This was, in fact, it was the same date, the exact same date, the end of the Civil War. It was meant for the babies of slaves, and it's so clean and so obvious. But this lets us go there and finally win that case, because hundreds of thousands of people are pouring into our country under birthright citizenship, and it wasn't meant for that reason. It was meant for the babies of slaves. So thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with these numerous policies and those that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis, including birthright citizenship, ending sanctuary city funding, suspending refugee resettlement, freezing unnecessary funding, stopping federal taxpayers from paying for transgender surgeries, and numerous other priorities of the American people. We have so many of them. I have a whole list. I'm not going to bore you, and I'm going to have Pam get up and say a few words, but there's really, she can talk as long as she wants, because this is a very important decision. This is a decision that covers a tremendous amount of territory. But I want to just thank again the Supreme Court for this ruling. It's a giant. It's a giant. And they should be very proud, and our country should be very proud of the Supreme Court.
Here's my thing. Why they keep lying to us? Why do they keep lying to us?
World War I is from 1492 to 1775, when America was attacked by 7 countries simultaneously. For 283 years, they bombed this place. Russia took Alaska, Netherlands took Canada, British and England took the East Coast, Italy took Texas up to the Gulf, France took New Orleans up the Gulf, and Spain came around the West Coast down through Argentina, Chile, and up the backside. 7 countries attacked Black America. In 1775, we surrendered and lost the right to vote. They put us in slavery camps. They labeled them reservations, and the ones that did not go on reservations was labeled Negro.
We were never brought here on any slave ship. I need for y'all to understand this. They didn't wipe out all the natives of America and then refill the population. No. The reason why they sell you the story of the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria is because once you realize that the land here belongs to you, to your ancestors, then you have something to fight for. I told you 1,000 times over, in the days of Rome, while they were conquering the world, they kept the peasants watching the gladiators in the arena. In today's time, what do you see all over social media, the news? Did he do it?
The prosecution just finished their rebuttal a short time ago, but let's talk about the defense and what their closing arguments were like. A risky tactic by Diddy's lead defense attorney, saying that the feds got it all wrong, dripping with sarcasm. He said that kinky threesome sex is not the same thing as sex trafficking. He even went so far as to say that Cassie and Diddy are a, quote, great modern love story. Now, 6 of Combs' adult children, along with his mother, Janice Combs, made a strong show of support for the disgraced hip-hop mogul, whose very freedom is on the line. His defense team was at full strength, focused on a final strategy that tried to cast the RICO sex trafficking and prostitution charges in a far less sinister light. Lead defense attorney Mark Agnifilo admitted right off the bat that Combs beat and abused Cassie Ventura, but called her a gangster who played him. He walked around in front of the jury like he was in a TV courtroom drama, arms outstretched with a spin for everything, claiming no one was trafficked and the women in Combs' life benefited from their association with him financially. There was no racketeering drug dealing, according to Diddy's defense attorney. There was no conspiracy, just drug purchases for personal use. He said there was no force or coercion, and that videos of freak-offs were not made for extortion purposes, as prosecutors claimed, adding that Combs is not the only man in America to make homemade porn. Now, the prosecution rebuttal, they said, here we go again. This is excuse after excuse for Diddy's behavior, and that they will prove, and they want the jury to agree with them on this, that he has been committing crimes for 20 years and that now the time is over. So we're joined right now by criminal defense attorney Deanna Paul. She's also a former prosecutor. When you hear this kind of name calling that's been going on too, criminal mastermind on one hand and just guy, you know, your average neighbor next door on the other, what do you think about this?
It's exactly what Mark Agnifilo had to do. The jury heard the government yesterday talk about this leader of a criminal enterprise. Today, AUSA Comey actually calls Diddy God. He's not God. He's find him guilty. Mark Agnifilo said, you know, this is a tale of two stories. You have what the government says to you, and then you have what the text messages say. And they tell two different things. And he did, you know, what defense attorneys sometimes have to do. You admit what you can't deny, and you deny what you can't admit. There was domestic violence. There was jerkies, but it was recreational. There were all of these things, but what there wasn't was sex trafficking, and what there wasn't was racketeering, and that's what the government had to prove.
And then how important are the closing statements from both sides on the jury as they're going in now? They'll have a weekend and then come back to the deliberations on Monday.
So I think that's why the judge is waiting until Monday to charge them on the law. But closing arguments are really important, particularly with a trial like this that's 7-8 weeks, where they've heard so many different pieces of the testimony that weren't necessarily all consecutive. Right. And this is the moment where the government gets to put together the whole story and where the defense gets to
weave their tale and their narrative. We're out of time right now, but Deanna Paul, thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it. Guys, that's the latest here from federal court. Steve and Natasha, back to you in the studio.
Or not. Is Jim Jones better than Nas?
I did for Nas probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been that viral at all, ever. Ever. He's never been talked about like this ever in his life.
Now, has Nas reached out to you?
You did. The last time he was in some shit like this where people were comparing when him and Jay was beating on him.
Say that.
You heard? You dig? Like, and I don't want to talk about other people's career, but let's just get to the semantics of it.
Have you spoken to Nas since the whole go?
Nas.
Okay.
I don't know Nas to have a conversation with him. You don't have a conversation, we can have that too and shit like that. You dig? Like, I don't really care.
One thing I did see you.
Look at the conversations that's being pushed in the algorithm of Satan to keep you looking in the opposite the direction. I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like what I'm feeling. I don't like my spidey senses is going off. And some of the budgets that's being cut, I'll give you an example. I don't know what to call it, the name of it, but the system that they use to detect tornadoes, hurricanes, and earthquake are being cut when we right in the mix of getting ready to go full throttle in hurricane season. Who in their right mind would actually cut the funding to these satellites to give us information and give us forewarning to let us know which storms are coming so we could evacuate. Who in a psychotic mind would do that? Trump? What are you doing, Trump? So you'll cut the funding to the programs to let us know when hurricanes, earthquakes, and tornadoes is coming. But you won't cut the funding to those missiles, them bombs bursting in the air over there in Israel. It was always about getting our land back when it was taken from us. Finding out our history. There is no paper trail. Do you know most of us don't even know who our great-great-great-grandfather is? That's what we went through as a people. That's not even that far back. Other countries, other cultures, they can go all the way back 1,400 years, 2,000 years, knowing their ancestors. But there's a reason why we are dumbed down and billions of dollars are spent to keep us stupid. First, it started off with the border jumpers. Then it ends up with the workers, the regular people that ain't been bothering nobody. Now, they knocking on the doors, chasing the Haitians, the ones that had visas to be here. And the thing about ISIS, which y'all not realizing, because y'all still saying this ain't none of our business, until you get stopped in traffic by ICE. What's the difference between an African American and a Haitian? You look the same. So it's only a matter of time before you get caught in traffic and have dudes running down on you with a gun in the vest talking about freeze. And if you find the right or the wrong ICE agents that's affiliated with the clans or whoever else, so they could just make you disappear, and ain't nobody gonna even look for you because you don't belong here anyway, but you really do. The games that's being played, they're getting real tricky. But nevertheless, I can't make you care about things that you should care about. What I'm seeing and witnessing all around this country, you got Bill Gates buying up all of the farmland.
Microsoft founder Bill Gates is the largest private owner of American farmland. Gates alone holds over 275,000 acres across 19 states. Why do you think Bill Gates is buying up all this land?
Well, one is greed, and it's running America's family farm is off family land. Basically, we can't buy the land once Bill Gates moves into the area.
Yeah.
And what he's trying to do now in the food industry is the same thing that they've done with seeds. You know, when they put genetically modified seeds in, and now he wants to do that with beef. But you know, America's farmers are proud farmers, and I'm asking Americans not to support fake meat, but to support farmers out here who grow beef like I do and poultry.
Bill Gates buying up all of the farmland. So now his motto is population control. This is what he preaches. This is what he teaches all around the world. Population control. Then the stats just came back. 74% of the people that took that passed away from that. The games that's being played is scary. Left wing, right wing, all flopping and flying in the same direction on that same bird. The reality of it is, those of us that pray, we already know where this world is going. The stage is being set for that one world leader Out of chaos comes order. Mentally, I hope you prepared. Physically, I hope you're prepared. Spiritually, I hope you're prepared. Because the real money is the mental, the physical. Financially, once the dollar bill collapses, we all going to feel the effect of that. Ain't nobody going to be safe. Ain't nobody going to be safe. So the only thing that we can do is make sure our health is our wealth. Because that's the number one thing that it seems like it's being targeted. We eating the worst foods. We up under the worst stress, especially people in New York City. You pull up to your neighborhood after a certain time, you can't even park. If you do find a parking, you'd be lucky if your wheels are still on your car when you go outside. Our men in our community is egotistical. Everybody got they chest stuck out, screaming and crying, talking about they're a real nigga. Okay, show us what real niggas do. Show us what real niggas bring to the table outside of your ego. Because if you ain't bringing nothing back to feed the village or uplift the village and everything is about you being tougher than the next man until the cops come and put the handcuffs on you, then you're worthless. That's all you got? Your claim to fame is just being tough? For all the wrong reasons? It's bananas because these people are telling you that artificial intelligence is getting ready to replace you in your jobs. Artificial intelligence is getting ready to replace you in your job. It's already starting, and they got YouTubers on YouTube that's not real, that look better than me and you. It's AI. Why would YouTube have to pay us when they can keep all the money in-house with artificial intelligence? You are competing against the machine. We are living in the signs of the times. Rise of the machine. Skynet. The Terminator. Which I forgot about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Things that we thought was a figment of imagination is now coming to light. Movies like Wesley Snipes, Sylvester Stallone, Demolition Man. Now they could actually put a chip in your head and reprogram you so that you don't have to do jail time, but you will never be the same again. Never, ever, ever be the same again. Cryogenics, freezers, to put you in a freezer and they can unfreeze you and unthaw you and you could be alive 100 years from now. We are living in the signs of the times. They could actually take your mind and download it into a machine. So if the program in that machine decides to put you on a loop where you being tortured on the internet, would that be considered to be your digital hellfire? A lot of people are not paying attention to what's really going on in this world. It's another video. I ain't going to even get into that. I don't like what I'm seeing from none of these politicians. I don't like the military mind games being played. 1 minute, Iran got weapons of mass destruction. The next minute, I mean, if they had that, right, and they was that powerful, why they didn't use them? Now, somehow the war that started overseas is ending up on social media. Some of the things that I'm seeing being said about Muslims. Some of the Muslims that I know and I've met throughout the years were some of the best people that I've ever seen in my life. Mind their business, go to work, go to the mosque, go pray, go home. Take care of their families. Some of the things that's being said about them on social media is diabolical. Who planted the seed of evil? Who's planting the seed of divide and conquer? Who owns the air? Who owns the water? Who owns the highway? Who owns the neighborhoods you live in? Who controls wildlife? Who decides whether you pay taxes or not? Who decides whether to put the hour back or forward on the clock? Who makes all of the decisions? Who decided to give us traffic tickets? Who decided to make us pay taxes? Who was behind World War I, II, and III? Who destroyed the Congo? Who was who invaded Haiti? Who? Who wiped out the natives of America and enslaved them? And put them on public assistance and welfare. Tricked them out of their land and put them in the projects. Who? It wasn't the Muslims. It is what it is. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. Pay attention to your circle before they hurt you. Watch these politicians. Watch these laws that's being passed. And sleep with one eye open. It's safe to say it ain't safe outside. I'm out.